Hello, my friends, and welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, and what is Wednesday here? It is weigh-in day and the weight loss topic. So, you know I'm in this month of no tracking, and I've been doing very, very well with it. I was a little concerned this week because, as you can hear, and if you saw any videos, you know I haven't been feeling the best. I got a cold, and I lost my voice, and then my voice came back, and then I lost it again. I really don't feel horrible. I had 2 days where I didn't feel good, but, you know, I fall into that trap of when I'm sick, I just don't want to eat, and I don't want to eat properly. One of the first things from when I was a little kid, one of the first things that happens to me when I get a cold is I lose my taste. I do not have COVID. That's happened to me years before COVID was a thing. But I lose my taste, or my taste alters, and I don't like certain things. So I pretty much just eat what tastes good and sounds good. Like the other day, I had cheese and crackers. I didn't eat breakfast. I had cheese and crackers for lunch, and I had cheese and crackers for dinner. That's all I wanted. So I have not been eating well. And when I don't eat well, the scale reflects that. You have to eat to lose weight. You can't just stop eating. And if I don't eat enough or eat properly, I usually have a gain. So I was a little bit worried about that this week. But I shouldn't say I was worried, because it is what it is. When you're not feeling good, I'm at a point in my journey where I know things are temporary. Now, 5 years ago, I probably would have freaked out because, oh my gosh, you know, I had a gain or whatever. But now I'm so much better about knowing the ebbs and the flows and knowing when things aren't going to go well because of factors that we can't control. That's the key right there. Factors we can't control. So I figured I would have a gain this week, but I was quite surprised when I stepped on the scale and I was down 0.4. So it is what it is. Like I said, I'm not worried about it. Not feeling well. I just wanted all the tea. And when those 2 days where I felt really not well, I had a lot of popsicles because I had a sore throat. So I really wasn't worried about it, to be honest with you. And I think not worrying about it and not being so hyper-focused probably helped me. I don't know, but I am down 0.4 this week, so good for me. I am feeling 100% better. I know I still don't sound it, but I am feeling back to myself. I just need the voice to come back. And I still have a little bit of congestion, but honestly, I feel fine. So that's awesome. Okay, now on to the topic of the week, which is how to make tricky food decisions on the fly. Excuse me for drinking my tea while I talk to you, but I need to keep it moist down there, or yeah, it's not gonna happen. So let's get started. How to make tricky food decisions on the fly. Next time you suddenly find yourself face to face with a food you love but don't plan for, use these steps to switch off autopilot and decide what to do. Try this. Check in with your points or calories budget. Could you make room by eating a smaller portion, by using some extra points or calories, or leaning on low or 0 point foods or lower point or calorie foods later? Then imagine how you'll feel an hour after eating the food. Think you might have regrets about it, or feel uncomfortably full or unable to stay on track the rest of the day? that's an alarm bell. That's what happens to me a lot. Let me do the other one and then we'll go back and talk. Think you'll feel content and satisfied and able to stay within your budget the rest of the day? Then bon appetit. So I know for me, a lot of times for me, it's not necessarily the food, but the amount of the food. You know, I can fit anything in. I can, even on the fly. A special food. I'm not going to go off plan to fit like a regular food in that I can get anytime. But something special that I can only get at certain times, I'm going to work hard to fit it in. And I'm at the point now where I can generally just have enough for satisfaction, not gorge myself with it. But where I come up with a problem a lot of times is just, even with regular food, going back for a little more. And then I end up feeling like crap and I overate. Did it yesterday, as a matter of fact. Yesterday, I was finally back to eating like good food. And I measured out a quarter cup of chicken salad. And I had a couple crackers. And it was so good. And I could taste it. And I haven't had my chicken salad. And I love my chicken salad. I haven't had it in so long. And it was so good. And instead of stopping and waiting, I went right back and got another quarter cup. I should have waited because I ate that quarter cup without even, it was so good. I shoveled it in and I don't even know if I tasted it or appreciated it. And then I just felt yucky. It was just too much food at one time. If I had waited, if I had eaten my lunch and then waited and went and did something else, like maybe cleaned up from it or whatever, I would have realized that I was satiated and satisfied and not eaten more. But I think with, not feeling well over the past couple of days and not eating a whole lot, I just went for it. And then I felt like the first one, I felt uncomfortably full and it just wasn't a good thing. If I had waited, if I had just stopped and waited, I know I would have had a different outcome. And sometimes I think with either eating more food or eating a special food, we have that FOMO, that fear of missing out. And, I was down to the end of the chicken salad. And I'm like, well, if I don't eat this, why was I feeling like that? I can make chicken salad again. Chicken salad's an easy thing to make. So you have to weigh everything when it comes to, and I don't mean weigh physically, mentally weigh everything when it comes to deciding to veer off plan or deciding to stay on plan. And I'm not perfect. I just told you that. I'm not perfect. I overeat. But you have to decide right then and there what you want to do. I should have waited on the chicken salad and then I would have realized that I was fine. But I didn't. It's okay. We all make mistakes. But if you can stop and think about it before you have it, last time we were down the shore, Doug bought some saltwater taffies to take to work and just leave in a candy dish on his desk. Now, Doug is so good. I don't know. We'll say he probably bought like a quarter pound of saltwater taffies. Maybe there was 25 in the bag, we'll say. We'll say that. There were 25 saltwater taffies. He can put them in a bowl on his desk. He might eat one or two a week. I'd be like one after the other, unless I stopped myself. He, every once in a while, maybe once every 2 weeks, he'll bring one home for me as a little treat. And that's what I'd rather him do. I'd rather him leave them at work and bring me one here and there. But it's so funny because sometimes I think, oh, here it is. I got to open it and eat it. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Number one, I haven't had dinner yet. And number two, I'm only getting one saltwater taffy a month or two a month. I want to make it last. So I will wait till after dinner and then I'll actually cut it into 3 pieces And the last time he brought it home, I cut it into 3 pieces, had 1 piece, and forgot about it until the next day. So it's little things like that that can help us stay on plan and stay in that mindset where we need to be. I'm not denying myself of it, but by cutting that saltwater taffy into 3 pieces, I didn't just shove the whole thing in my mouth. And then I had the 1 piece. It tasted so good. I was thinking about it, but I forgot about the rest of it. And I did go back and eat it eventually, but I didn't just shove it all in my mouth. And by going back and eating it a little bit later, I was able to enjoy it more. I hope this is making sense. I'm still a little bit, yeah. So you have to decide. Think about it. Before it goes in your mouth, think about it. Are you going to regret it or are you going to be okay with it? And either one is okay. Don't regret it to the point where you're denying yourself so much that you're eventually going to binge, because that's not good either. Then it says, give yourself some time. That's what I talked about. Try focusing on something else for 5 or 10 minutes. You can even pre-track the food with a plan to come back to it later. And that's what I should have done with the chicken salad. I should have cleaned up the dishes or whatever, and then decided, you know what? Do I really need more? But because I went right back to it, I overate it. And I didn't feel good. So definitely stop and take that 5 or 10 minutes and think about if you really need it. You might want it, but do you really need it? Are you happy? Are you satisfied? If you still want it after waiting, if the answer is yes, enjoy it, track it, move on. You might not feel so good like me yesterday, but it is what it is. If you decide that, you know what, you're satisfied and you don't really want it, move on with your day. So it says, let's dive a little deeper. Maybe a friend surprises you with her famous dessert, or you're out to eat and your sister orders your favorite app to share, the one you were going to skip in favor of having a cocktail. Even if you plan ahead and budget points like an all-star, you can't anticipate every food or drink that pops up on your radar and throws you and your plans for a loop. But you can anticipate how you'll react. It's normal just to automatically reach for tasty foods when they're in front of us. But pausing to mindfully check in with yourself and the future you gives you a chance to more consciously choose how you'll react. Putting extra time and distance between you and the food helps too. I look back, I know I keep going back to my chicken salad yesterday, but it's reality for me. I measured out my chicken salad, I measured out my crackers, I put it on the plate, I went to sit down and eat it. There was my first mistake. I should have put the cover back on the chicken salad, put it back in the refrigerator. I should have put those crackers back in the jar, or put the lid back on the jar and put them in the cabinet. If I had done that, I bet you anything I wouldn't have gone back for a second helping, because it was all put away already. It was all put away. But it wasn't put away. It was right there on the counter. So boom, easy. So if I had taken the time to put it all away before I sat down to eat, I really think the outcome would have been different. So think about that. Think about the little steps you can take in helping yourself to stick to your plan, your portion, your meal. Think about the little steps that future you can take, and they will make a difference, because I know darn well if I had put that away, I would not have pulled it out again. I know it, 100%. So stop and think about what you can do to set yourself up for success, not necessarily 4, 5, 6 hours a day, a week in the future, but think minutes, think seconds, think right there and then. What can I do? What can I do right now to be a little bit more successful? It says, in the end, you still may decide to eat the food, and that's more than okay. The goal isn't to swear off of your favorites. We all know that doesn't work. It's to notice the desire to eat, break that automatic see it, eat it cycle, and instead make a more informed decision. That alone is a win and can help you stay on track for the long haul. And that's what we want, my friends. I've said it 100 times. This is a marathon, not a sprint. We have to be able to do this for a long, long time. You might be able to lose the weight in 5 months, but if you are not learning the lessons and not keeping it off, it's not going to do you any good. You need to train yourself. You need to learn the lessons. You need to be okay with making sometimes a difficult decision, but other times making the decision in the moment that's right for you right then and there. It might not be the right decision, but it's the one that's going to get you through. And as long as you have very few of those and way more of the right decisions, you're going to be okay. One indulgent meal, one indulgent snack, one indulgent dessert is not going to add 10 pounds to the scale. Doing it over time, one indulgent dessert every day or one whatever every day indulgent meal will. But once in a while, it's okay, and it's sometimes what we need. I've said it 100 times. All points and calories are not created equal. You can eat 1,300 points of cake. 1,300 calories or 23 points of cake. And you can eat 1,300 calories of delicious protein and high fiber foods and vegetables and fruit and whole grains. And your body's going to react different. Yes, it's the same amount of calories or it's the same amount of points, but they're not created equal. So remember that too when you are deciding what to do and deciding what to eat extra of. They're not created equal. 3 fast facts. When faced with a food we love, our brains turn on and tend to stay focused on it. Yes. And that is why sometimes we can't walk away from it. We just continue to think about it. But sometimes you eat it and it's not as we remembered. And I'm going to give you another example. So I was joking with one of my baby mamas. It was after Halloween. And we were texting and I said, hey, if Bo gets any Heath bars or Almond Joys in his trick-or-treat bag, hook me up with one. And they're the little miniatures. I love Almond Joys and I love Heath bars. Do I want to go out and buy them and have them in my home? Absolutely not. Do I want to have one that is sent to me? Yes. I have no problem with eating one little treat. But if I had the whole bag here, meh. So the next day, or a couple days later, he comes and there's one of the little miniature Almond Joys. Oh my goodness, those fun size bars got small. Holy moly. I could not believe how tiny this thing was. A fun size bar used to be like 3 bites. This was barely 1. Like the almond in the Almond Joy was the same size as the candy bar. But that's okay. I was like, you know what? So excited. I decided I wasn't going to rip into it right then. I knew when I was going to enjoy it. And I saved it for that time. And when the time came for me to enjoy it, I unwrapped it. And like I said, it could have been 1 bite, but I was making that puppy last. I took a bite. And I was immediately disappointed. I don't know if it's because of me changing the way we eat so much. And I'm not saying I do not eat chocolate. I just eat really, really high quality chocolate with really good ingredients now. I just don't eat, anything. I don't know if the companies have changed their formulation or what, but I took 1 bite of it and didn't eat the rest. My friends, for me to not eat the entire Almond Joy is huge. It just did not taste good. The chocolate did not taste like chocolate. It tasted like waxy and almost fake. And it almost tasted like one of those melting wafers, not like chocolate. And I was not, I thought to myself, am I going to waste, like, I don't even know, what if there are like 100 calories maybe? I don't even know. I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing it. This is not calorie worthy. It just did not taste as good as I remembered. And sometimes that happens. Now, if it tasted as good as I remembered, heck yeah, I was eating the whole thing. Not a problem. Because I had planned for it, but it didn't. So sometimes when we go back and revisit things that used to be a favorite, maybe they're not anymore. So, just saying. So, fast fact number 2. Swearing off certain foods can backfire, often leading us to overeat them in the long run. 100% right. 100%. And that's why I do not deny myself of any food. I try to make better choices of foods. You know, if I can, like, I like potato chips. But I try to make better choices on the potato chips because we have changed our way of eating, because we have tried to get away from the seed oils and things like that. So now instead of, you know, grabbing a bag of Hers or Lay's, I look for a better alternative. I look for chips done in avocado oil or olive oil. Are they a health food? Heck no. But they're a better alternative for me. So I definitely look for things like that. I'm not going to never eat potato chips again. I'm not. I know that. But I'm just looking for a better choice. And then the last one says, pausing to make a conscious decision can give us more control over what and how much we eat. Yes, it can. If we stop and think before it goes in our mouth, if we stop and think about how it's going to make us feel, how we're going to feel when we track it, how we're going to feel when we get on the scale, how we're going to feel whatever. Sometimes, most of the time, that will lead us to making a better decision because we're not going to want to feel like crap. Yesterday, if I had stopped and thought about it, and if I had put the stuff away, I would not have felt overstuffed and bloated. I wouldn't have. I know that. And sometimes by screwing up like that, it's a good reminder to us of next time, stop and think about it. So anyway, that is it. That is it for today. That is the weight loss topic and my weigh-in. So I was shocked. I really expected a gain. I expected a small gain, not a huge one, but I was quite happy with the 0.4 loss. So that is it, my friends. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend it with me. I will leave a couple old videos linked right there that you can go enjoy if you've never seen them. And I would love you to subscribe, comment, like, and if you know someone this video can help, please share. Thanks again, and I will see you all in my next video.